Welcome back to the Nordic Components Talking Lead podcast, episode, I believe this is 181. And today we're going to have a special guest with us. We're going to have one of my more frequent guest hosts, Spectre, from the VSO Gun Channel, also known as Curtis these days. Welcome in, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me on here, man. I really appreciate it. You and I have been hanging out quite a bit the last couple weeks.
We have, and we got more hanging out to do in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, I know. We got some big ones coming. So,
as I told you, lead heads, from last episode, I went down to Florida this weekend for an event that CAA and Hartman was hosting at this awesome place that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But first, I want to go ahead and thank our guest from last week, Nick Atkinson with the Cobalt Kinetic shooting team. We announced that he is going to be starting he's already started his new YouTube channel called Beastmaster, and they're specializing in the night hunting. And he had his buddies Rich and Zane on with him there, so we greatly appreciate those guys coming on and looking forward to that hunt that we're going to be doing with them in February. And also the book, We the People. We had the author Ben Philippi on with us, and big thanks to Ben for allowing me to take part in that project and being a part of his book. If you guys haven't gone to Amazon.com yet to get your copy of that, you need to go quick because there's a limited number of those. I think at the time, last week, there was like 200 or so I'm sure there's a lot less than that now. So, Spectre, my buddy, we had a blast this past week. We were both down there in Florida at, what was the name of that series? ALTAIR, right?
Yep, ALTAIR.
ALTAIR. I didn't know if you say ALTAIR or ALTAIR.
I smashed it all together. I'm a northerner, you know.
Doesn't it mean something? They were telling us the meaning of that phrase.
Yeah, it's like a constellation or a Greek god or something like that. I don't
something to do with the stars or something. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, but what they did is they took a prison down there. It's in the Naples area. It's like 1,200 acres.
1,200 acres.
1,200 acres of prison land and facilities, and they turned it into one of the most badass training centers that you can imagine. They've got a 2,000-yard range. They've got, and we just saw a portion of it while we were there. We didn't even get to see the bulk of it. The range that we were at had a shoot house, and then had, what was the distance on the range we were at?
I think it was 50 meters.
Was it 50 meters?
Yeah, something like that.
And that was pretty much the extent. We were there. We were at the bunkhouse. They call them the bunkhouses, but these are like freaking nice-ass condos that you'd get down in Florida somewhere. I mean, they had hardwood, granite, stocked refrigerators. They really did it up.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was pretty nice. I would say that as far as like places that I have stayed on the road, just on the road, period, not even like industry events or anything like that, it was probably one of the nicest places I'd stayed in. And I mean, I was expecting to kind of come in, you know, I've gone to different training classes before. I was kind of expecting a barracks, you know, is kind of where I thought we were going to be stuck. But what they actually, their mission statement is actually, you know, they bring these guys in for training, all these military organizations, and they usually stay at barracks. And, you know, these guys are away from home so much that they wanted to create a semblance of home for these guys while they're there training that they don't normally get throughout the year. And I would say that I felt right at home. The bed I slept on is nicer than the one that I sleep on now.
Yeah, so. I was about ready to say, I didn't want to come home, you know. It was that nice there. So I think they might be overdoing it a little bit. They're not going to be able to get rid of the guys once they get them there.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
And then they had the mess hall area, which was probably 3 miles from where we were staying, so we had to shuttle to it each day. So let's just kind of go through what our day consisted of real quick. And we're going to have another show to where we're going to have Mikey on, and we're going to have some of the other riders and people that participated in the training on the show with us, but we're kind of going to do a little warm-up to that with this show. But so what we did was each day we started out, I guess we ought to talk about what the purpose of it was first, right?
Yeah, that's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, so CAA had their micro RONI there, and that was there. Basically, when they're setting up these training scenarios for us to get hands-on with the CAA RONI and the Hartman MH-1 Optic, which you've seen our videos that we've done on those on YouTube, and you've heard Mikey on the show before talking about them. So this was my actual first time to get hands-on with both of those products. Curtis, you may have had some prior experience with those, I'm sure.
Yes, I've had some opportunities to shoot both the Hartman Optic, the MH1, and the micro RONI before the event, so I was fairly familiar with them. But now that I've gone through 3 dedicated days we either had a micro RONI or an M4 in our hand for everything. So like it was very, very heavy on the micro RONI side of things. And I'm intimately familiar with the weapon system at this point in time.
Right. Yeah. So that was the main purpose of this course. Not only that, but they wanted to teach us how the Israeli military trains. So they had, Mikey, obviously former lieutenant colonel of the IDF, brought in some other some of them are still active though, right? Some of these guys were still active in the IDF.
Yeah.
Right? So he brought in, was it 4 instructors?
A total of 4 plus himself, I do believe.
Plus himself. One was not IDF. He was a military, U.S. military guy. I believe he was former Green Beret. Aaron?
Yeah. Aaron was. I was trying to record a whole bunch of data at that time, and I
missed exactly what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, missed exactly what it was. I feel kind of bad, but I was pretty busy trying to capture everything.
Yeah. It was a lot, but we started from 6 in the morning and we went till like 9 or 10 in the evening. It was day shoots, it was night shoot, and then they'd pretty much just dump us off at our condos there, and we would pretty much veg, but it was non-stop from morning till night. So there wasn't a whole lot of time to sit down and get a lot of media type stuff. So I did do a little bit recording when we had classroom, and we did that the first day, the half of the day, and that's pretty much all the classroom time that we had. The rest was all range time the next 2.5 days.
Agreed.
And we're going to talk about this in the episode coming up. We'll get into details about what all we did and things like that. But just wanted to give you guys a high level of kind of what we were involved with this week. Did you have anything else you want to plug in there about the experience?
No, man, I think that pretty much squares it away. I'm sure that we'll get into more depth, on the as we go along. That's for sure.
So real quick, the other people that attended, and I'm sure that you guys are familiar with these because they're some of the big hitters in our industry as far as media goes. Michael Bain was there from Downrange TV. Jonathan Gibbon of Arms List. And speaking of armslist.com, you guys can go there, and they have posted a link to one of our shows, our last week's episode on Arms List. So you can start looking on Arms List for links to our show as well. I know a lot of you lead heads are members of Arms List, as I am. Todd Bergering, Andre Dalou. Is that how you say Andre? I always mess up his last name.
I always screw up his last name too. I should ask him next time I see him. What?
I believe it's Dalou. David Fortier, of course. We know how to say his name. Curtis was there. VSO. This Craig guy, did he show up? Was there a Craig? I don't remember a Craig.
No, the Craig guy did not show up.
Okay, and they don't even have his last name on here.
And Tim Yan and I took the liberty of splitting his gear. Since he decided not to show up.
Yeah,
so.
I would have done the same thing. Kevin Landers with Gear and Gun Reviews. Was he the Fluffy Gun Guy? Is that what he goes by?
Yeah, that's what he calls himself. He was my partner for most of the exercises.
John Peterson. He writes for all kinds of different magazines.
You want to talk about a dude with a resume?
Soldier
All you have
of
to
Fortune
do is look at his Facebook page, and I think he's like worked everywhere. And I mean, it's amazing, like how much experience that dude has.
He's got tons. Plus, he's former military as well, so he knows what he's talking about. Jim Grant, he's another good writer. Kevin Reichard, a.k.a. the Tack Daddy, as you guys will know him by. Larry Zanoff, very interesting dude there. Larry works in the film and movie and TV industry, and his company provides the weapons that you see in these big blockbuster movies and TV series like The Walking Dead and the Avengers movies that you've seen. Westworld, the big Westworld TV show that they just released. Pretty much in any of the movies that you see, the big blockbuster movies, they're providing the firearms for those movies. So he was a really interesting dude to talk to. I really enjoyed meeting him. He was one of my, what do you call it, people who stayed in the same room.
Roomie?
Yeah, one of my roomies, quad mates, whatever. Tom Rader was there, and Timothy Yan. There was 14 of us in all. Two guys didn't show up. Another one that I didn't mention that was supposed to have been there was Masad Ayub. Is that how you say his last name?
Yep.
I'm terrible with people's last names. But he had some sort of, I don't know, he wasn't feeling good or something like that, so he wasn't able to make it. And his stuff didn't get split up. Dadgummit. I noticed Robert had it in the Jeep there, the van, whoever he was supposed to have roomed with. They didn't take liberties. They should have. Idiots.
Yeah, that wasn't very smart.
No. Because that was some good swag that we got there, man. I hate to rub it in, but
I made sure that I got a spare one of those bags. If one of my people doesn't take it, I might give it away or something like that to a viewer.
There you go. That's awesome.
Maybe somebody on our Patreon will end up getting it. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure that it's not going to go through because I'm sure that as soon as
one of your dudes will take that in a heartbeat, man. That's a nice Vertex bag. I don't know what model it is, but it's like a little hip bag. It's really nice.
Yeah, I really, really like that thing.
And then Vertex also hooked us up with some pants, pair of pants, a shirt, nice polo shirt. And
the Vertex stuff was actually kind of difficult. I've used Vertex stuff in the past, and I really like that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're buying their pants, they run narrow.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, they do.
They just run narrow. Like I'm talking like a full size narrow kind of thing. And I don't know, maybe it's because of my build. Mine were very tight in the leg.
Well, you've got freaking tree trunks for legs, so you're a little abnormal.
I suppose, but
no, mine were tight too around that area. So I think probably maybe a 33 would have been a little better. I would normally wear a 32, so I think a 33 would have probably been the way.
Well, let me put it in perspective. I usually wear a 36, and I had them get me a 38 because I was gaming the Vertex pant being narrow.
Yeah.
And it still was tight on the leg.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So the rest of the pant felt fine, or was fine. Like it was fine around the waist and everything. It just around my thigh was just super tight.
And that's this cut of pant. Did you see the ones that Tack Daddy had? He had like the air pants on.
Now that poor kid, I call him a kid. He's twice my age. He had these things on that had vents, and they looked like a really good idea on the surface.
Yeah.
But man, the night shoots with all those mosquitoes, man, I could just.
I don't think those mosquitoes could get through there, though, could they?
Oh yeah, he said that's where he has all his bug bites.
Oh really?
Okay. Yeah, he would forget to apply his mosquito repellent there. I mean, how do you do that? You'd have to take your pants off and spray down and put them back on.
Or you just spray your pants. Just spray your pants. Just spray your pants.
I guess, but like. you've used a stencil and spray paint before. Like, that doesn't really work all that well.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know. That's how I was just spraying myself with the bug sprayers. I was just putting it all over my clothes and everything. The mosquitoes were bad down there. They were bad.
Yeah, I would take my hat off and like drench my hair in it. You got to be careful with that deep wood stuff though, because it'll sting your lips real bad. I had like numb lips. I know how women who get Botox feel. I'm walking around with duck lips the whole time.
Nice. So, needless to say, they hooked us up with some really nice swag. There was some other stuff too. I can't remember. There was like a book, a really nice leather-bound notebook from CAA, pen, patches. Oh, Air Pro. I mean, they hooked us up with some electronic Air Pro too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Again, this was a course to where we actually were getting something knowledge from them. They weren't just there to wine and dine us. They actually worked our asses, and they put us through legitimate IDF courses that they train their people in. And I mean, it's the basic stuff, but still, from like I said, sun up till sundown, and past sundown, we were there working, shooting, training. And my favorite, bar none, which I'm sure it's going to be most people's, was the shoot house.
I would have liked to seen more shoot house.
Yes.
Than we got. We only got about 2 hours of kill house, which, that is
an hour of it was instruction.
Yeah.
And about an hour to shoot.
That's definitely something I would have liked to have seen more of from the class. But, especially because my instructor that I was paired with the whole time was one of the guys running the kill house and the instruction. And the dude was like super intense.
Was it Garrett?
What was that?
Was Garrett your instructor?
Yeah, Garrett was my instructor.
Yeah, Garrett was super high speed, man. He, you could definitely tell that he was one of their elite force guys.
Yeah. You could. All you had to do was just at 5 minutes with the dude in the shoot house, and you're just like, yep, that dude knows his stuff.
Yeah, I need to listen to him.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, you can tell that like his idea of fun is shooting Palestinians. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
Like, some people like to play Xbox. Some people go fishing.
Yeah.
Garrett shoots Palestinians in the face.
And he does it with pride and skill.
Yes.
But that was, I'd like to just do the whole time, if they wanted to do it in the shoot house while we were there, I would have been fine with that. I did want to do some long-range precision shooting. I think that would have been, that's like the next piece they need to add to this course, in my opinion. That 2,000-yard range that they've got there, they need to put that to use.
Yeah, I mean, especially because we got to go through some of the doctrine. We can't talk about like some of the stuff that we talked about, because some of it is kind of like on a more of an official level. But the things that the practices that they put in place, I think would be really cool to see in use at like, ALTAIR had a 2-mile range. Yeah. I mean, I know that's way outside the effective range of the weapons that we were using, but but
I want to see them bring in. I want to see them bring in weapons for the next course for that. It's like that's the next. So they taught us the infantry basically. The infantry and the close quarter combat stuff. Next show us how you do the precision long range shooting.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. I did pick up. I didn't agree with. Not that I didn't agree with. It just didn't agree with me. Maybe some of the styles of shooting that they do. But there are a couple that I'm going to start adopting. I'm going to adopt and start using.
100%. Some of the stuff that they taught, I would echo what you were saying. Most of what they taught was very different from what we use here in America, and they started off the course by saying that. So, whenever I go to a training course, I try my hardest to leave my previous knowledge at the door. And I kind of act almost like an infant at a training course. Like, I need to be babied and treated like I don't know anything.
That's the best way to approach it.
And I take instruction literally from, the instructors. So if they tell me to do a certain way, I do my best. I had a little bit of trouble with the malfunction clearances and stuff like that, because I've drilled that so hard into my like reptile brain per se, that it was very, very difficult for me to leave that behind. And I would almost call that a failure on my part. A failure to comply with the
IDF way.
With the IDF way, yeah. But back to the positions, their prone position is far superior to our prone position.
Yeah, I agree.
And so is their sitting position.
Yeah, it's a lot more stable.
Yeah. In fact, we were out filming today, and I used the sitting position today on the range. We had to make some like 200-yard hits on some tiny steel targets, and I was able to teach high speed how to do it. One of my guys how to do it in like 30 seconds, and he is like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to use this from now on."
It's real simple to learn. It's just getting down and practicing it. So real quick, explain to our listeners that the sitting position.
So the sitting position, I'll start with the American and how then it deviates. So typically, whenever we do it here, we square our shoulders up to our target and then sit down, and then we kind of sit there with our, almost like our feet kind of like folded up, and then you're somewhat unsupported, and your elbows are kind of like on top of your legs. So the Israeli position, your legs are spread a little bit farther, and they're a little bit farther in front of you, but your off foot. So if you're shooting right-handed, your left foot is like right in line with the target, and your elbows go on the inside of your legs, and your legs can then provide pressure in, and your elbows pressure out.
And you're sitting at a 45.
Yes.
To the target.
Yeah. So I didn't say that very well. So you're at a 45 to the target, and your front leg, or your left leg, if you're shooting right-handed, would be in line with the target and the rifle.
There you go.
And then you go with your 5 points of contact, right? Your shoulder, your cheek, your hand, your right hand, your left wrist or forearm is in contact with the magazine, and then your left hand is on the forend. So you lock that thing down, and it's really stable.
Yeah, it is. Now, you went with the side, the elbow to the side of the knee? You didn't put the magazine into the knee like some people were doing?
Some people were doing
forearm, into the forearm, wasn't it? Is that what it was? Magazine into the forearm.
Yeah, magazine in the forearm. Yeah, some people were doing it that other way.
Yeah, it's hurt. That's too. I tried it that way, and I was like, no, that's not for me.
I found I actually never even tried it that way, because like I sat down and got into the initial position that I described, and it was so comfortable. Yeah, that I was like, yeah, there's no way that anything could be more comfortable than this. So I basically just ran on that the rest of the time.
So the prone is the one that I think really is a game changer for me as far as my, the precision shooting is going to go. And it's very similar to what we're talking about with the sitting position. And you guys have seen the video that I did with the Zeus system that Mikey developed. Well, he actually had 7 of those there for each group. We got to use the Zeus training, precision shooting mat, I think is what he calls it. Yeah.
Zeus stands for 0 under 80 seconds.
Right, 0 under 80 seconds. So it's designed to teach a soldier the Israeli shooting position in prone. And it's at a 45, so your gun is pointed at the target, then your body is at a 45 off of your rifle, off of your weapon. So you're laying down, prone on your belly. Your feet are spread as far apart as you can get them, and there's a line of the legs, just like you were talking about, your left leg and your right leg line up.
So, I mean, literally, if you look at everything that they taught us, it's either based off of a 45-degree angle or a 90-degree angle.
Right. So your body's 45 to the target, your left leg's 90 degrees to the gun, and then your right leg's parallel with the gun.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. And then your feet are flat on the ankles, pointing out. And then if you can't do one of those, I think it was your weak leg that you could let bend it or whatever you needed to do. But then you had your contacts with the firearm itself, and there are 5 points of contact with the weapon. Is one, the stock to the shoulder, so just like we normally do, your stock's into your shoulder. Your cheek on the stock. Now that's something that I never really paid attention to, because I would have a higher, I guess, cheek stance on the buttstock than what they were telling us to do. The way they tell you to do it, you actually get some meat down on that buttstock to where it's hanging over. You know, your cheek's hanging over the buttstock. So it relaxes your neck is what that does. It takes a lot of stress off your neck and your back by doing that. And that was something that I really liked, so I'm going to start using that definitely. And then the pistol grip in your strong hand. So you pop it into the meat between your pointer finger and your thumb. And then your weak hand, forearm, is against the magazine. And what they mean by that is to be able to do that is you're basically locking that in. You're twisting it in by rotating your wrist with your forefingers above your thumb on the forend until it touches that magazine. And with that buttstock on your shoulder, your cheek down like that, that just locks the weapon in place, and it's virtually impossible for it to be moving left or right at that point.
Yeah, I mean, and they went into, I mean, he spent an hour talking about the various directions that the forces come from different parts of the body, and how that all integrates into locking the weapon system into place and making it very, very stable. And it was a very, very high level look at that position. In fact, we spent an entire day on the prone position alone.
Yeah. Yeah, the first day, that's all we did was prone shooting. We shot the AR, we shot the SBR macaroni, and then we shot the macro stab, as I call it. Which is the macaroni with the stabilizing brace on it.
Yeah. And you guys, we're calling it the macaroni because the way it's the micro-roni.
But the way that Mikey, RONI, I think, is how they actually call it. It's the RONI.
Yeah, we call it micro-RONI.
Yeah.
The way that Mikey speaks, he calls it's a dialect thing, but he calls it the macaroni.
He actually got that from me at SHOT Show. We came up with that name at SHOT Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I was calling it the macaroni, and he kept, no, it's macro-RONI, Marty. Macro-RONI. Get with me. Get with me now. Listen to me. This is how you say it. This is how we say it in Israel. Yeah. I was like, Mikey, I'm kidding. Macaroni, the pasta. Macro-RONI.
It's amazing because we met Mikey like right around the same time. Like you had just finished interviewing him, and I had like a few hours earlier come from his booth to go hang out with you in the SHOT Show little area that you have every year. And I was like, hey, have you seen the such and such site and the new iteration of the RONI? And you're like, dude, I just talked to that guy,
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's funny because that happened, and then I had just finished telling CJ from Big 3 that he needed to go over there and talk to Mikey, and then like the next day, him and Mikey show up to be interviewed again together
on Talking Lead.
On Talking Lead while I'm sitting in there, so it was good stuff.
Magic
very good
happens
stuff
in the Talking Lead secret squirrel room at SHOT Show. Nothing but good stuff. But that's how he got to the Big 3 East. That's how CAA got invited to it. Was from that meeting.
I would like to say that I also walked Marty up to
I was going to say Curtis facilitated basically that connection. So he hooked me up with CJ, and then CJ obviously was on the show, and then I was like, hey, you guys need to meet. So we arranged that. So thank you, Curtis, for doing that.
I'm not going to take full credit on any of that sort of stuff. However,
you did hook me up with CJ though, man, and that was a solid. I appreciate you doing that.
So does that mean I get a chunk of your award from Big 3? Do I get like if you break it, like if it falls off, do I get a shard of it?
No, you don't get that. Now, because you didn't help me do any of the interviews, but I will, however, cut you in on part of the award that I received at the CAA training facility. By that, I mean there's a shot of whiskey or 2 or 5 waiting for you.
Oh, cool.
Did you see that book? So it was basically, it's like one of those fake books, and then you open it up, and it's got a lock and key, and you open that up, and there's a flask with shot glasses in it. It's the Three Musketeers is the faux book that it looks. It's like a leather-bound Three Musketeers book. It was pretty cool.
So Mikey gave me one of those lockable books. Mine was the Torah, right?
Sweet.
But it didn't have anything in it except for the key. So you got the upgrade. I was like, oh man.
I was a little disappointed because it didn't have anything in the flask, but oh well.
Well, it wouldn't have had anything in the flask for long anyway.
That's right. It would have been down before we got on the bus to go back to the airport. That would have been a nice little thing to have for the ride back to the airport, because it's like a almost 2-hour drive back to the airport.
Yeah, I told people, we flew into Naples, and then we flew into Fort Lauderdale, and I was like, they're like, well, how was Fort Lauderdale? I was like, oh, actually, we were in Naples. And they're like, wow, we really like Naples. And I was like, we weren't in Naples. No, we were
in the swamp.
We were off the beaten path.
We were in the swamp somewhere, and they said there was something like 60 gators on that property.
Yeah, something like that. 60
gators. There are bears on the property. I mean, all kinds of things that can kill you. Snakes. So, I mean, you got that going on with it too. I can see why that's a great place for a prison. It's going to make the prisoners think twice about wanting to escape.
Well, let me put it this way. The first night we were there, we got a safety brief from the people that run the place. And, they were like, well, you guys are going to get your basic safety brief when and your extended safety brief for the event and everything when you're there. But we just want to let you guys know ahead of time that these are the things that can kill you here. Please don't mess with them.
Right.
So
if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Like, no worries there, dudes. But at the same time, I don't want to inadvertently, go where they're supposed to be. So let me know where they're at so I can stay the hell away.
Well, I there were a few times where I was not paying attention first thing in the morning, and I walked through the grass to go, and I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that, right? Like, I turned my light on, like, I would take like 2 or 3 steps in the grass, and I would stop and turn on my light, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably best.
And I was even hesitant about going to the laundry room, because it was detached from the condos, but it was like a carport area, and it was just over there in the next little building over there, but it was toward the back of the building where all the big tall grass was. So on my way, I mean, I was very alert and aware, had my flashlight, flashing it everywhere, and I would run across and slam the door behind me, and I'd run back into the condo.
Wow. That's next level right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it needed to be taken to quite that extreme.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I am deathly afraid of snakes. I don't like snakes. Gators, I'm not really afraid of them, but snakes, something about knowing that there's snakes around just gives me the weebie-jeebies. Nordic Components is an American-owned manufacturing company proud to produce quality products right here in the USA. As a company, we continually invest in our manufacturing capabilities to ensure that all of our products are the highest quality and most efficiently produced parts available. The Nordic Components business consists of 2 segments, manufacturing and sales. Our manufacturing business works to provide custom machine components for a variety of applications, with our specialty being firearm components. The sales business produces lines of branded firearm accessories to enhance and elevate the shooting experience. We are a company owned and operated by individuals devoted to shooting sports, and many of us shoot competitively. We attend and sponsor a number of events around the country each year where we listen to you, the consumer, and are proud to say that all of our firearm components are a direct result of your input. As a firearms accessory provider, our aim is simple: provide shooting enthusiasts with innovative products of uncompromising performance and reliability. Nordic Components. Check us out at nordiccomp.com. All right, so you're going to get more about our experience from the ALTAIR training facility during the CAA Hartman Train the Trainer the IDF Way. I think that's their official name for it. So in the meantime, you guys can go check out all the social media posts that everybody's doing and has been doing. If you'll hashtag, probably hashtag search Train the Trainer the IDF Way, or the IDF Way, or Train the Trainer, CAA, Hartman Optic, things like that, then the post will pop up. And there's some really good posts that people have been putting up. So go check those out. And you've got one you're getting ready to drop too, right?
Yeah, I'm working on it now. It's going to be a kind of an overview of the micro RONI. Since we got to use it so much, I actually am pretty much in love with the thing, which is not something that I do very often. I really like the thing. It is a shame that you have to SBR a pistol to use the thing. However, I see that happening in the future.
Right.
I may or may not wait until they have one that's compatible with a suppressor. So, because that would make it even more next level. I mean, the thing is super light, and I'm a very size and weight constraints minded individual.
Yeah.
For the amount of weight increase that you get on the thing, which is almost nothing,
right?
The capabilities that you get are pretty amazing. So,
but it balances the way that they've got it designed, and you put it in there, and it's very well balanced.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is well balanced.
I wouldn't wait if I were you, because once you SBR it, it's just SBR'd, and you can take it out of different casings, put it in different CAA casings. So.
Well, and there are other accessories out there for the Glock that you can attach to the Glock, if you do choose to SBR it. So,
right.
I mean, there are other shoulder stock adapters and stuff like that. So you're not just limited to the CAA RONI when you do it.
Right, right. There's some other options, and each one has a different pro con to it.
Yeah.
But speaking of SBRing, this would be a great time to hear from one of our sponsors, and then we're going to get into a fact to fight the myth. Now it's time for the Talking Lead
Fact to fight the myths.
All right, so as we were talking previous about the macaroni, and if you choose to get the one that's not the stabilizer, then you're going to need to SBR your pistol that you put it in. And they've got it for different platforms. Right now it's pretty much most of the Glocks. I think they've got the Glock 21 on the way, and then they're looking into doing Smith & Wesson. I don't think it's out yet either, is it?
I believe they have one model for the Smith available. I know that they have a SIG variant that is ready to go.
Yeah.
What I really want is the did you say the 10 millimeter Glock, the long
21,
slide 10 millimeter Glock?
Yeah, the 21.
Yeah, is that the designation of that? See, I don't know. I'm supposed to know that sort of stuff. I lost track of the Glock models a long time ago.
Maybe that's the 45. 21's the 45. So the 10, I can't remember which one the 10 is, but like you said, they do have a model that's coming for that.
Yeah, I want one that has the long slide 10 mil, that is cool for the long slide 10 millimeter, which I believe is the same one that the Glock 21 fits in. So I believe it's built on the Glock 21 frame.
So there you go. Maybe the 21 is the 10 also.
Yeah. So we should confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that that's what they said.
We'll confirm that next week's show with Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I could see, especially if they have one that's compatible with a suppressor, shooting some Freedom Hush 40, or some Freedom Hush 10 millimeter out of that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be where it's at.
Plus, you get the long slide on the Glock. I mean, of course, we know the longer the barrel, the more accurate your shots are going to be because you're getting more velocity out of it. So adding that with the adapter, the macaroni adapter, then you're going to get some good accuracy out of that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Accuracy. So you recently got a post on your Facebook page?
Yeah. So
concerning SBR and
so
ATF.
Yeah, so what happened was I posted a photo of our Micro-RONI that we were using. We named it Team Ramrod while we were there, so it didn't get mixed up with anybody else's. But I posted it on our Facebook page, and somebody was their comment was they were hesitant to buy one. They really wanted one, but they didn't want to SBR their Glock because it was their favorite handgun. And I asked them to kind of flesh out what that meant. What his concerns with SBRing a Glock were. Mm-hmm. And for everybody to understand what that means is when you are making a firearm, you have to fill out a Form 1 with the ATF. So what that is it registers the firearm with them as an SBR. You pay your $200 tax, and then when that's approved and it goes through, you then have the ability to put any accessories on it that would be strictly related to it being a rifle, like the Micro-RONI. So there were two things that went into that. One, an SBR cannot be transported across state lines without the proper forms being filled out with the ATF. There's a form that you fill out, once a year that says where you're going to take it and when across state lines. Turnaround time is relatively quick on those particular forms. It's not really that big of a deal, but you have to know in advance that you're going to go somewhere. This is a pain in the butt. The other question was on can you concealed carry your Glock after you turn in a Form 1 on it? And
because it's no longer a pistol, it's a rifle at that point.
Yeah, it's now a rifle. So the question would basically be, does taking it out of the Micro-RONI back convert it to a pistol? And after doing a little bit of research and talking to some people, that are very knowledgeable on the topic, we kind of came to a consensus that no. Well, actually, it's an ambiguous answer. So it would depend on your state law at that point in time. So once you convert a pistol to a short-barreled rifle, it remains a short-barreled rifle. Period. End of story. So that means that if you live in a state where you have a concealed handgun license, a CHL, then you are more than most likely not capable of carrying that firearm anymore as a concealed weapon. There are lots of different types of permits that allow you to carry a concealed weapon. CCW, dangerous weapon permits, and all that sort of stuff. There are at least 5 or 6 different permutations of this throughout the state.
Yeah,
or
and
throughout
every
the
state's
states.
Got a definition for what that means. So check with your local laws.
Yeah, so you would it would be subject to your individual state's laws on whether you would be able to carry a short-barreled rifle as a concealed weapon. I know here in Ohio, we have a concealed handgun license, so I know that for a fact that I cannot I would not be able to put that Glock in my holster and carry it legally.
See, that makes no sense to me.
It makes completely no sense.
No.
But, we say this every single year, you don't have to understand the law. You just have to know the law.
Right, but they make it so ambiguous that it could be interpreted, 10 different ways at any given time that they wanted to. That's the problem with the ATF is they're constantly redefining what they mean in their opinions.
Well, hopefully, with the new boss in town.
The new sheriff in town, boys. Y'all best get used to it.
Maybe we'll see a shift from that, and maybe a reprioritization of their efforts there, and maybe they can speed up their times of getting those forms out instead of worrying about some crap on whether or not you're shouldering a pistol brace or not.
Right. They just need to make SBRs, no extra hoops to go through for the SBR. Same thing with the suppressors.
Well, it's funny that you mention that because we were talking with the Israelis that were at the course, yeah. And they were just kind of like,
only in America.
Only in America could such a stupid, ignorant rule possibly exist. That
it made no sense to them whatsoever, just like it does to most of us.
Yeah. So, in actually, if you look at, if you just take the AR-15, for instance, if we just talk about it for a second as an SBR, one, it's not concealable, period. Like, there's just no way that an operational AR-15 can be concealed on your person. It's just not going to happen.
Not a 16-inch.
Well, not a 16, not even a shorty.
Well,
right?
Now, no, they can be. If you'll go back to my video where I was interviewing, is it Ian with high threat concealment?
Yeah, you say that, but man, I tell you what, you can still tell the dude's got a rifle underneath of his shirt.
Yeah, but if he had on a duster, you wouldn't be able to tell. And that's concealable.
So maybe.
But I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, okay. Look, it's not as concealable as a lot of people think it's going to be. Like
right.
it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the lethality of a rifle versus a short barreled rifle, out of a 16-inch barrel, minimum legal length AR-15, your rounds cooking at about 3,000 feet per second. If you chop that barrel down to 7 inches, you're shooting around 2,100, 2,000 feet per second, somewhere in there. You've cut your velocity into a third. And if you look at the energy equation, E equals mc squared, E being energy, M being mass, and C being the velocity, you'll notice that the C is squared. And the reason it's squared is because the velocity of the round has a exponential effect on the amount of energy that you transmit to target. Mm-hmm. So when you cut velocity, you really cut power. So if you're talking about lethality, a short barrel rifle is much less lethal than a full-sized AR-15.
But at the same time, it's still lethal.
Oh yeah, no joke. It's still lethal.
If you sit there at the same distance with those two rifles and shoot into ballistic gel, they're both going to do devastating damage. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's stupid that they're trying to, regulate SBR over a rifle. It's minuscule for what they're trying to accomplish.
100%. Yeah, it is. And the same thing with the suppressor argument. Most people that have fired a 5.56 suppressor, it's like, wow, why is this thing even regulated? Because they're loud.
Right. And again, we've talked about this many times on the show, is in other countries, sometimes it's a law that you have to have a suppressor.
Yeah.
It's good for your ear health. It's good for noise pollution, not disturbing your neighbors. But our argument here in America is that, somebody could use that to go and assassinate people and nobody would know.
Yeah, right.
It's almost like the gunshot's an alarm. It sets off alarms or something. But that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's completely ridiculous.
All right. So another aspect of that we were talking about, Curtis, real quick, let's touch on that, was the serial number when you SBR it also. Yeah,
so there's a couple things that, as far as that is concerned. Now, guys, keep in mind that none of this is legal advice, right? I'm not an attorney.
Disclaimer, we are not attorneys. We do not claim to be attorneys, and you should check with the local laws and rules and regulations in your area and state, and check with an attorney. Licensed.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
But basically, there are two sets of things that govern when you have to serialize or engrave your NFA firearm. If you're doing it as an individual, you don't have to immediately engrave anything unless you go to sell it. If you go to sell it as an individual, then you have to have markings on it, even if it has been deactivated or converted back to a commercial configuration. It is totally legal at any point in time, as a disclaimer. It is totally legal at any point in time to back convert a short-barreled rifle to a legal length rifle at any point in time. Especially if you were talking about the transport stuff across state lines, you can totally take your short barrel off, throw your long barrel on, and go to a different state. And as long as you leave the other components at home, you're fine. That is cool. You can sell it as that. However, if it has been deactivated, then you need to, and you plan to sell it, you still need to have it engraved because that information is on file at ATF. So if that person were to wind up being picked up for that serial number, and are picked up by the authorities and had that serial number in their possession, it needs to denote that was at one time an NFA regulated item.
Right. Even if it was been back converted, you still have to, if you go to sell that firearm, you have to re-serialize it.
Yes, because you were the manufacturer.
Right.
So that is one thing. Now, if you purchased it as a factory SBR, that's a different story. But it would already have that information on it.
Yeah. If you bought it as a factory SBR, then there's no back anything to it because that's what it started out as, right?
Yeah, it started out as a short barrel rifle.
It would always have to stay that way.
Yeah. So there's a gray area there, for when you're selling it. The other time that you need to engrave your firearm is when we're talking about transferring firearms to a trust. So when you've got a firearm on trust, which is the way I do everything for my NFA stuff, I have my stuff on a trust, and it has the trust information engraved on the side of it so that there can be no mistake that is an item that is owned by the trust. And what that also allows to happen is the trustees of the trust are very easily able to gain access to those items and use them for their purposes without any other excessive regulation. Where you cannot do that with an item that is personally owned. And of course, that also applies to successor trustees and things like that. If you were to pass away, it makes that transition of the property seamless, as opposed to property being held in ward and other things like that. Should you pass away?
Very good. There's an article about this on thetruthaboutguns.com. It's by Nick Leghorn. I don't know if that's his real name or not. January 29th, 2016. It says, do you need to engrave your Form 1 SBR? That's got some helpful information in it. Again, I don't think this guy's an attorney either, so you always want to check with your local laws and rules and regulations.
Yes.
Disclaimers.
Yes, because not all states are the same too. Because you have the federal regulations and then you have state regulations that you also need to look at. So there may be some things in your state that you need to check out.
Can't they just leave us alone? God dang it!
again, hopefully with some new management in there, then
right.
Yeah, some of this stuff will loosen up a little bit, but we won't get it done if we don't push.
Very
so
good.
The fight, guys, I hate to put it this way, we've been fighting for 8 long years. I know we're all tired and wore out, and we just kind of want to sit back and just kind of enjoy the fact that, perhaps we won't have to, fight for our rights.
Can't let your guard down. Cannot. You
can't let it down. The fight.
Don't get comfortable.
The fight did not end on November 8th. The fight was renewed.
Yeah,
so
it was just actually it was just upped.
Yeah, we shifted from defense to offense now, people, and we need to take some ground back because they're going to come back around, right? And if we have ourselves in a better situation when they come back around, perhaps we won't have to worry about things quite as badly as we did for the last 8 years.
That's right. And make sure you go out and get trained. Get your training. Never stop training.
Yep, I went to several courses this year. I think I attended 8 courses this year.
Dude,
8 different
you tore
courses.
It up. Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Learned an extreme amount, and I look at who I was and how my brain worked around training in firearms and conceptualized violent encounters and stuff like that, and stress-filled situations. And then I look at where I'm at now, and it's just like I don't even know that guy, So the value of quality training from reputable instructors is just severely underrated in our industry, and I highly, highly suggest that you seek those people out and go visit them.
And if you guys need some tips or advice on who to seek for that training, you can get in touch with Curtis over on his Facebook page at VSO Gun Channel. And, of course, you can always hit me up on our Facebook page at Talking Lead, or you can email me at talkingled@gmail.com, and we will definitely steer you in the right direction. Somebody good quality trainer in your area. Another thing that I wanted to talk about real quick, we're getting ready to wrap this up. We actually went a lot longer than I was anticipating. I was going to cut in another Big 3 East interview, but we filled the time here, Curtis. Good job.
What can I say? I'm a loudmouth, long talker, long-winded dude. I
mean, we could still be talking about the CAA training course that we took, but we got to cut that short because we're going to be talking about it next week. But so The Walking Dead, and I know that you're not caught up on your episodes, so we have to be vague on this, which is probably good because a lot of the listeners probably aren't caught up on it either. But the season 7, which is what we're in right now, mid-season finale, there's something in there that's related to this next. I guess it might be a fact to fight to myth, or it could be fact. But it's something that Curtis and I are going to work on between now and the next few episodes. Hopefully before the next Talking Lead airs, or the next Walking Dead airs. But we're going to test the theory on, and I'm not going to say anything about the show, but whether a baseball bat can stand up to a 9mm round. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, we're going to have to test this. We're going to, I kind of know what's going on because the internet sucks, right? Like there's spoilers out there everywhere. It's like, this is actually being filmed on the day that Rogue One, the Star Wars movie, came out. And I already know like half of what the movie,
I'm the opposite. If I see anything that remotely looks like it's going to talk about a movie that I've not seen yet, I will steer clear of it because I do not want to know.
Yeah, I know. So, but The Walking Dead has so much proliferated and inundated our culture these days that it was very, very difficult for me to not find certain things out. So, as far as the baseball bat versus the 9mm thing is concerned, I'm somewhat on the fence on whether that would happen the way it did.
Yeah.
And it definitely would have been different on the receiving end. As it definitely would not have just stopped in the bat.
Right.
All right. There's
and it's
just
a wooden
no
bat.
way.
We're talking about a wooden bat here. It's not an aluminum bat.
Yeah. So what we'll be determining is whether or not it goes through the bat, how far it launches the bat back, and whether or not it shatters the bat, which, depending on what kind of ammo we're shooting, I'm going to bet it's going to shatter the bat.
That's my guess. It's going to shatter and it's going to go through.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, it's going to get a lot of shrapnel from the bat and or the round.
Yeah, so we're going to be playing Mythbusters a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can probably expect to see Marty over on the VSO Gun Channel, and hopefully in the coming month or two.
Absolutely.
We can get something done.
We're going to get out in the frozen tundra, and we're going to test this for you lead heads.
Yep.
And I think we should probably maybe for the podcast that we do get Larry involved, since they provide the firearms for the Talking Lead.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
You mean for The Walking Dead, not the Talking Lead?
Yeah. They stole it from me.
Yeah, but that would be actually very, very cool. I would really like to see Larry come in on that episode. Yeah, that would be fun.
Or maybe we can convince him to come up to the range too and do the video.
Ooh, I don't know.
We'll see.
Nah, man, flying. He's in Cali.
He can bring the actual gun, the actual prop gun that they use. That would be cool.
That would be really cool. But again, there's some logistical concerns. You don't want to get people's hopes up here.
Oh, I know. But maybe he's doing a film nearby.
Maybe. Who knows?
I mean, he's done the John Wick films. He's done, I don't know. I mean, it's like all Hateful Eight. He's done like old movies, like real. He's been doing this for years and years and years. So he's the guy I'm going to get on the show. He's very interesting, and you guys are going to enjoy that. But I know you've got a date you got to get to, brother. You got to take the VSO Mud Girl out for some pizza.
Yes.
So
it wasn't real quick on Larry. Wasn't he in the IDF too?
Yes. Yep. Larry
he totally was in the IDF. So he was like, when you go to an instructor level course, right? They'll try to mess with your head a little bit and give you some off the cuff things, and here in America they have to like whisper in the shadows. They were just totally like just talking in Hebrew, like right in front of us, probably making fun of us.
Yeah.
And we would have no idea what they were speaking. So
no, they did that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but they couldn't do that too much because Larry, he was standing right there and he could hear everything that they were saying.
Yeah.
But
he's one of the brotherhood, so he ain't gonna say nothing,
Yeah, exactly. You could see them say something, and you could see him stand there and laughing.
Right.
When they, Yeah, but that said, man, you're 100% right. I need to get on the road. So again, thank you very much for having me on. Thank you very much to the Talking Lead audience for putting up with my crap for as long as you have. It's always good to be on here with you guys, and maybe we'll see you over on our side.
Absolutely.
For some good times.
You guys make sure you go check out Curtis over at the VSO Gun Channel. He's on YouTube. He's on Full 30. Probably want to go to Full 30. That's a better platform to watch it. But where would you prefer they go? Both?
I would, I'm a very big advocate of Full 30 because YouTube has made it very clear that they don't like us. Okay, they don't want us there.
They
do community. Things to expressly discourage us from continuing to work in their space. And while it's really important that we maintain an audience there, we do a lot on YouTube. The platform has evolved quite a bit, and it's very important that we not abandon that voice on YouTube. But that said, Full 30 is a superior place. We want to continue to build that place, but it's two-faceted. One, you need to support Full 30 for what it is. It is the YouTube of guns, right?
Yeah.
That's very, very important. But then you also need to go over and subscribe to us on YouTube to stick it in the eye of the man.
Stick it in the eye of the man. That's right. Now, who is the contact over there if people wanted to give comments and feedback about Full 30. They wanted to give their feedback about Full 30. Is there a link there that our lead heads can go to?
I'm not sure
like
actually on that. But if it's a question about like a comment about like the user interface or how to improve the platform, all you have to do is leave a comment on one of our videos, and I am on a discussion forum with the Full 30 creators on Facebook. It's a secret group.
Okay.
And whenever I see something like that come across, I post it over there.
Okay. So here's what you do, Leadheads. You're going to go to VSO's channel on Full 30, and you're going to go there and you're going to say, "We want Talking Lead on Full 30." So, go do that today. Do it now and do it in full force, Leadheads, because I want to be on Full 30. All right, Curtis. Cool, thank you for being on. And real quick, I want to thank our sponsors, Nordic Components. Check them out at nordicomp.com. The 308s are still on their way. They're not out yet, but you've seen some posts that we've done, some new products that they've got. So make sure you go check them out, nordicomp.com. Use the Talking Lead discount code. That's Leadhead. Cobalt Kinetics, cobaltkinetics.com. We talked about them last episode with Nick. They've got a lot of awesome things going on and coming up in the near future. multicampattern.com. You guys saw my new Palladium multicam boots that I got. I posted some pictures on social medias of those. Very comfortable, and they've got all kinds of different colors there at Palladium to get your multicam boots. Glock, the official carry of Left Hand at Talking Lead. Yep, that's me. And I'm rocking the Glock 23 and the 27 as my personal carry. But then, of course, I like shooting all of their models. 19 is awesome. Is that what you have, the 19?
I have a 17, a 19, and a 26.
There you go.
I run the whole spectrum because you never know when you need to upgrade firepower.
That's right. Frontier Tactical. Check them out at frontiertactical.com. They have a new spokesperson, which hopefully we're going to be getting on the show here very soon. Gary O'Neill, former Special Forces. So he's got a book out. It's called The American Warrior. It's the true story of legendary Ranger Gary O'Neill. So hopefully we're going to have him on soon. I am in the process of reading that book, and so far it is very, very intriguing book. It's a really good book. KelTechWeapons.com. I'm going to try to get Chad on. He's had a lot of travels here lately, so we need to get caught up with Chad and see what the latest and greatest is with him, and maybe he'll give us some insight onto what's going on for the SHOT. But we'll definitely have him on at SHOT Show if we don't get him before then. Modern Spartan Systems. For all your lube and gun cleaning needs, check out modernspartansystems.com. X-Steel Targets. The best, most affordable AR-500 steel targets on the market. Check them out at xsteeltargets.com, and they can even custom make you some AR steel targets.
X-Steel Targets.
Oh, another big sponsor of the event that Curtis and I went to, which is also a member of VFOB, which Talking Lead is a member of, Triumph Systems. They provided a lot of the targets that we were shooting at this week with the pop packs, the threat down targets, and the pivotal targets, which they had some set up in the shoot house. So make sure you guys go check them out, support them, veteran-owned company, TriumphSystems.com. Mission 22. Is there something you want to mention about what you got coming up with Mission 22, Curtis?
Yeah, so this week we're going to be dropping it's not a raffle, it's not a giveaway or anything, but we're going to be announcing that with Mission 22 we're going to be handing out a product to one of our patrons on Patreon, and 50% of the proceeds of that whole thing are going to go to Mission 22 to help support their initiative to curb the suicide rate in veterans.
Eliminate. We're working to eliminate that. 22 veterans a day on average commit suicide, and that is unacceptable. And their mission is to bring awareness to the public that this is a problem that needs to be addressed and dealt with. We don't need to leave it in the hands of the government. This is something that we as a society can take charge of and help these men and women that have dedicated their lives to protecting our lives. Mission22.com, and then make sure you go to Curtis's Patreon account. Where's that at? Where can they go for that?
Well, we'll be dropping a video on it on Tuesday.
Okay.
And they'll be able to see that video.
December the 20th,
it'll have all the
right?
details.
Tuesday, December the 20th?
Yeah, Tuesday the 20th.
Okay.
They'll be able to go to the VSO Gun Channel. It'll be the video released on Tuesday on either our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or on Full 30. You'll be able to go to all three of those sites. It'll be on the top. We'll be talking about the product we're going to be giving away, as well as information on how you can help Mission 22.
There you go. And then Sheepdog Impact Assistance, sheepdogIA.org. Go there and check out what all they have that you can do to help fund their missions across our nation in disaster recovery. They travel all over the nation when there's disasters like we just recently had here in Tennessee, the Gatlinburg or East Tennessee wildfires, the floods that have been rampant here in several of our states and cities. They form teams from former military, law enforcement, fire department personnel, EMTs, EMS services, and they get the people with those skills and keep them active, which is one of the things that help PTS.
Yeah,
is you got to keep those guys active. They've got that instinct to serve and protect. And once they retire, a lot of them just, kind of sit on the porch and wither away. This is a great way to, get them out, keep them active, and serving and protecting. So, sheepdogIA.org. Check them out. And Curtis, again, thank you so much for being on. You guys check them out at VSO Gun Channel. They got a lot of great things going on there. As always, lead heads, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer.
And Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll probably take a few weeks off from our normally scheduled programs, but I will be dropping, hopefully, the remainder of our Big 3 East shows. So stay tuned.